Are you tired of losing? Confused about what to pick after the latest patch? Wanna know the top 15 hero that you can use to dominate MLBB? Well, don't worry, Papa Kazuki is here to save you all. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video let's take a look at all the heroes who will help you to decimate your enemies in rank after the release of latest patch in the original server. Before we start the video, I think it's fair that you know what criteria we have picked the heroes for this video. The heroes picked for this video are based on current statistics and recent changes in the patch. And we have also picked some heroes that are always reliable too. The heroes are in no particular order and we have made sure to cover almost all roles so that you don't have any trouble picking. With that out of the way, let's begin with the video. The first hero on this list was forgotten hero until recently, but now the Immortal one has finally made a comeback. Argus has been a split laner for a very long time, but now he is finally showing his true colors. With a win rate of 55.97% in all ranks, he officially is the hero with the highest win rate except for roamers, which is crazy. And he's just so hard to win against in the EXP lane, especially after level 4. And he has crazy amount of damage, which makes him an OP pick. Time for some tips so you can bang the enemy. As we all know, Argus is one of the strongest heroes in the late game. His scaling potential is crazy and he can melt squishy heroes like butter once he has his full build. Which also means his early game is a bit weak, especially against sustain and CC heavy fighters. So know when to pick your fights. He's really weak to CC. Yes, he has a purifying effect when he uses it, but he is not completely CC immune when it is active. Timing and positioning are especially crucial when you play Argus. Argus is really good split pusher. What makes him so good is this first skill and ultimate both combined together. So this is how you split push with Argus. Go in the turrets with minions, keep attacking until the minions are dead. Once they are dead, use your ultimate and still keep the pressure on the turret. And exit with your first skill when your ultimate is about to end. There is also a riskier method where you go in before minion comes, use your ultimate, deal damage as much as you can and come out. But this method is lot riskier and only used when no one is nearby. Use his second skill on more number of units. You use your second skill on when you are in his ultimate. There more HP you recover, so hitting minions and hordes of enemies with your second skill is a good idea. So look around the situation and choose which method you are going to use. Here are the suggested builds and emblems for the Immortal one. Just like Argus, let's take another beast who has come back crawling into the meta, the Ashura himself. Martis is a great hero now. He had fallen off the meta, but he's slowly making a comeback, and the recent buff where emblems and items also reset the cooldown of ultimate will be a game changer. As now, if you can snowball properly, you won't have that much trouble even in the late game, as he's just that good. Let me just give you a few tips for Martis. Martis can snowball into infinity, especially with Sky Piercer. And all you have to wait for the HP to drop around 25 to 30%, you can just use your ultimate and Sky Piercer will take care of the rest. And once your ultimate is activated, the ultimate damage scales more, which means your HP threshold for Sky Piercer also increases significantly. From testing, when you combine it with the physical attack and 8% HP threshold from Sky Piercer, which should bring the overall HP threshold to 38 to 45%, roughly, which is crazy. So to sum that all up, just build Sky Piercer as your first item and start snowballing. Some other tips will be to save your second skill, second phase for desperate movements. Because even though the overall CD is the same, but the CC immunity duration you get on his first skill is almost twice that of the second phase. Here are the suggested builds and emblems for Martis. Moving to Zuzin, another hero who's received a significant buff. With no mana cost on her ultimate, Zuzin is currently overpowered and a force to be reckoned with. Her current win rate of 52.44% speaks volumes about her effectiveness in battles. Here are some strategies to make the most of Zuzin's abilities. Zuzin excels when playing aggressively. Her skill set allows her to disrupt the enemy line, making her the ultimate disruptor in the game. She is annoying when you are constantly placing stakes and throwing enemies left and right. Use her ultimate strategy to initiate or escape when necessary. And since she doesn't have that much damage, put more focus on being a heavy CC mage rather than a burst mage. Zuzin is mana hungry hero, so always prioritize the Cloak of Destiny as your first item. Here are the suggested builds and emblems for our dear Zuzin. Next we have Gadot Kacha, which stands out as the best offensive tank in the game. With his flexibility and 5th highest win rate of 55.10%, Gadot Kacha is a force to be reckoned with. He has risen up to the meta, taking everyone down and becoming a dominant force both in EXP and roam role. Here's how to dominate with Gadot Kacha. Gadot Kacha's skill offers a lot of crowd control, making him a nightmare for squishy heroes. Use his abilities to initiate team fights and disrupt enemy formations. Consider hybrid items that enhance both his tankiness and damage output. Man, Gadot with magic items is a monster now. As an offensive tank, Gadot Kacha thrives in aggressive playstyle. Don't hesitate to dive into fights and create opportunities for your team to follow up. And whenever you engage someone, use his second skill. He is one of the best taunts in the game. Use his ultimate and second. They are going to have such a hard time running away. Here are the suggested builds to upgrade him to Muscles of Diamonds. Vexana is next on our list, a versatile mage with a solid win rate of 51.79% and a healthy pick rate. She offers a unique blend of damage, crowd control and utility, making her a valuable pick in any composition. For being a CC heavy mage, she has a surprising amount of damage. Here's how to make the most of Vexana. Vexana's abilities have a wide area effect, allowing you to poke enemies from a distance. Use her skills to harass opponents and control the battlefield. Her ultimate ability can summon a puppet that adds significant pressure to team fights. And goddamn, it comes in fast and gives so much CC and does so much damage. And her first skill, the travel time on this is too fast. Too fast for its own good. As with any mage, positioning is vital. Stay at the backline and prioritize high value targets to maximize your impact, and don't forget to camp. There are so many bushes for a reason. Here are the suggested builds and emblems for Vexana. Let's talk about Clint, a marksman known for being a lane bully. Despite a lower win rate of 49.51%, Clint remains one of the few viable marksmen in the current meta. He is a solid hero who can deliver whenever you play him well, which shows stats aren't everything. And that's why we do have a few anomalies in this list, as safe picks, and Clint is one of them, as he isn't picked solely based on the stats and the overall hero solidness. Or if you want to know more heroes who are solid despite not being in the meta, check this video out. To dominate with Clint, keep these tips in mind. Clint abilities allows him to poke and harass enemies from a safe distance. Use his first skill to chip away at enemy health and maintain lane control. The Sky Piercer surprisingly works well with Clint in the late game. Clint mobility is key to his success. Use his second skill to reposition during fights and evade enemy abilities. Here are the suggested builds and emblems. Roger is up next, a transforming fighter who remains strong despite recent nerf. With a win rate of 51.29%, Roger is a flexible pick that can adapt to various situations. And ever since the buff to Roger's both forms, he does some serious damage, making both the forms very good. Here's how to play Roger effectively. Roger's strength lies in his ability to switch between ranged and melee forms. Master both forms to adapt to different situations and maximize his potential. Items like Windtalker and Endless Battle will enhance Roger's attack speed and lifesteal, allowing him to sustain longer in fights. Knowing when to engage and disengage is crucial. Use his ranged form to poke enemies and switch to melee for all-in engagements. Here are the suggested builds and emblems for the wolf. Opal and Koopa are dominating the scene with the highest win rate of 55.74% among marksmen. This dynamic duo offers a unique playstyle that can be both offensive and defensive. Here are some strategies for Opal and Koopa. Coordinate with Koopa. Utilize Koopa to apply pressure and distract enemies. Manage his skills effectively to maximize damage and control. Use traps to control key areas of the map and provide vision. This can help your team secure objectives and prevent ambushes. Focus on items that enhance both damage and durability. Blade of Despair and Immortality are great choices for this duo. Here are the suggested builds. Next up is Hayabusa, who is currently making waves with his high impact and dominance in the meta. With his powerful burst damage and mobility, Hayabusa is a top pick right now. His ability to swiftly eliminate enemies making him a dangerous opponent in the endgame. Here's how to play Hayabusa effectively. Use the ultimate only when the stakes are full to maximize his damage. Timing is key. Engage when the enemy is isolated or when you can guarantee a quick kill, and avoid using his ultimate when minions are around. Combine Hayabusa's skill to maximize damage output. Use his second skill to get CD on your first skill every time you use his shadows. Here are the suggested build and emblems for our Shadow Ninja. Now let's talk about Terisa, who stands as a solid pick with the 8th highest win rate of 54.81%. Terisa is a reliable hero known for his tankiness and crowd control. He can dominate in the front line and provide a lot of utility for his team. To excel with Terisa, use his skills to initiate fight and control the battlefield. His ultimate is excellent for disrupting enemy formations and setting up kills for your team. Consider building items that enhance both his tankiness and crowd control abilities. This will make him a formidable presence in the team fight and ensure he can survive while dealing damage. Here are the suggested builds. Next is Zaxx, another hero currently overpowered with a win rate of 55%. Zaxx's ability to control teamfights with his minions and massive area of effect damage make him a strong choice. Here's how to use Zaxx to his full potential. Use his spawn to poke and disrupt the enemy. I swear it is annoying as hell. Utilize his ultimate to place his nest in strategic locations, allowing his minions to deal continuous damage to enemies. This can turn the tide of battles and force opponents to play defensively. Position yourself well and keep a safe distance while dealing damage. Zaxx is vulnerable in close combat, so focus on positioning and map control to avoid getting caught. Here are the suggested items and emblems to destroy your enemies. Kiri is up next, who has recently received a buff with a lower ultimate cooldown. Kiri remains a viable option due to her high damage output and ability to shred through tanky opponents. To maximize Kiri's effectiveness, use her ultimate strategically to finish off high priority targets. The reduced cooldown will allow you to use it more frequently in fights. Positioning is crucial for Kiri. Stay in the backline and focus on dealing consistent damage to enemy heroes. Build items that enhance her attack speed and critical damage to ensure she can maximize her output during fights. Here are the suggested items and emblems for our tank shredder. Yuzong is another great hero known for his solid performance as an EXP laner. With his ability to sustain in lane and provide crowd control, Yuzong is a reliable pick. To play Yuzong effectively, use his skills to control the lane and disrupt enemy movements. His ultimate is excellent for crowd control and can turn team fights in your favor. Consider building items that boost his survivability and damage. This will allow him to be effective both in the laning phase and team fights. Here are the suggested items and emblems. Arman is another hero currently dominating with a strong win rate. Arman's burst damage and crowd control make him a formidable opponent in battles. To use Arman effectively, combine his skills for maximum burst damage and use ultimate only when you have a decent number of stacks. You can also use his ultimate to initiate fights and escape from dangerous situations. Focus on building items that enhance his burst damage and cooldown reduction to make the most out of his abilities. Here are the suggested items and emblems. Lastly, we have Dairoth, who is reliable pick with great snowballing potential. Dairoth's ability to be a great fighter along with having decent damage make him always good to play. If you start snowballing with him, it's going to be such a hellhole for your enemies to kill you. To excel with Dairoth, engage enemies with his second skill and shred their defenses apart. Dairoth works well with Flicker and Petrify. Both options are undoubtedly good, but Petrify is just way better. Pair it with his second skill and ultimate, and your enemies will melt. And finally, here are the suggested items and emblems. So guys, what do you think? Will you be using these heroes? Is your hero on this list? Which hero did you think I missed out on? Comment down all your thoughts below. So that will be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.